It was one of those brutal Wyoming winters that just doesn't let up, the kind where the wind howls like it's got a personal grudge against everything standing, and the snow piles up so thick you forget what the ground looks like. In there I was, Tom Reynolds, pushing 65, wiping down the counter at my little roadside cafe in Pine Ridge, thinking this was as quiet as life gets after all those years chasing shadows. But then, around midnight, headlights cut through the blizzard like a knife, and this beat-up truck skids to a stop outside. Door flies open, and in stumbles this woman, mid-30s maybe, looking like she'd been through hell, blood trickling down her face, jacket torn, eyes wild but sharp, like she was running from something that wouldn't stop. I didn't know it then, but that moment flipped my world upside down, pulling me back into a fight I thought I'd left behind forever, because sometimes the past doesn't stay buried. It just waits for the storm to blow it right back in your face. Anyway, let me back up a bit. I'd been running that cafe, the Rusty Spoon, for about a decade, ever since I hung up my badge as a U.S. Marshal after 30 years of dodging bullets and bad guys, retiring early after my wife passed from that damn illness, leaving me to nurse my regrets in a town so small it barely shows on maps. Folks around Pine Ridge knew me as the old guy who served strong coffee and decent burgers, nothing fancy, just a place to thaw out. But inside, I was always scanning, always ready, old habits from spotting threats in crowds or tailing fugitives through back alleys. So when this woman, Sarah, she said her name was, staggers in, shaking off snow like a dog after a bath, I clock everything. Athletic build, maybe 5 feet 9 inches, expensive but worn boots, a gash above her eye that's no accident, and this quiet intensity in her green eyes that screams she seen too much, trusted too little. You're hurt, I mutter, voice low like always, and she touches her forehead, surprised almost, like she'd forgotten the pain in whatever chase brought her here. Then she asks if we're still open, voice steady but tired, and I glance at the clock, 11:52, figure why not? Got 8 minutes, sit down before you keel over. I pour her coffee black, hot, on the house for anyone dumb enough to drive through this mess, and she eyes me suspicious, like nothing's free, which, fair enough, life's taught us both that lesson hard. But I shrug it off, tell her call it courtesy for dedication. Even if it's foolish. Then I grab the soup I'd been saving for my own dinner, beef stew thick and hearty, and slide it over with the first aid kit, saying eat up, you need it more. She's confused, asks why I'd give a stranger my meal, and I pause, wiping my hands. Today's an anniversary. I say, 40 years since I swore to protect folks. Might as well keep the streak going. And yeah, there's a flicker in her eyes, like she's piecing me together, asking if I was military or something, and I just nod, something like that. Her hands shake from the cold as she tries to clean the cut, so I step in gentle, tilting her chin, hold still and patch it up quick, efficient, from patching worse in worse spots back in the day. She flinches but stays put, murmurs she's had deeper, then catches herself, like she said too much, and I back off. Tell her eat before it cools, nothing worse than cold stew on a night like this. While she's digging in, focused like she hadn't eaten in days, I keep an eye on the TV in the corner, local news muted, weather maps showing the storm swallowing half the state. Then it flips to a mugshot of this tattooed thug, caption about the Shadow Wolves gang pushing north, shootings tied to their expansion, feds sniffing around corruption links. Sarah freezes, spoon halfway up, staring like it's personal, and I watch her reflection, see her breath quicken, posture shift. Bad news. I comment casual, these guys are moving in, making everyone jumpy. She nods mechanical, says gangs are everywhere, but I push back, not like these, they're into heavy stuff. Guns, laundering, and turn up the volume just enough for the reporter's voice to fill the room. Third hit this month. Sources say high-level ties. No comment from officials. I muted again, sigh about the world changing too fast for spots like Pine Ridge, and she finishes up, thanks me quiet for the food, the bandage, introduces herself proper as Sarah Jenkins, handshake firm, calluses that don't scream office job, and I spot this small wolf tattoo on her wrist, peeking out, but say nothing. Her truck's buried out there. No way it's moving tonight. I tell her storm's too bad. Garage closed till morning, and she looks desperate, says she needs to hit Casper by afternoon. No motel open nearby, renovations or some nonsense, so I offer the back room, staff quarters, clean, locks inside. I'll crash on the couch, and she hesitates, weariness warring with caution. But the blizzard howls outside. No choice really. Why help a stranger? She asks soft. And I think on it being on the run myself once. Know how a kind act sticks, then show her the room. Simple. No frills, extra blankets. Lock up tight. She does, and I head to the break room. But instead of sleeping, haven't really slept deep in years, I open my locker. Combo lock clicks open to the old Colt .45, satellite phone, notebook of contacts from the Marshall days. Strap on the holster, tuck the rest away, stretch out staring at the ceiling. Something's off. I feel it in my gut like an old wound aching before rain. This woman's trouble, but the good kind, the kind that pulls you back to who you were. Morning hits bright and brutal, sun glaring off 3 feet of fresh snow like it's mocking us. I'm up early, coffee brewing, pancakes flipping, when Sarah emerges, looking roughed up but cleaner, bruising on her jaw showing now, fresh shirt but same pants. I slide her a mug, force of habit. Open at 6 for 10 years in, she scans the room, automatic. Exits. Weapons maybe, not your average traveler. We eat quiet at first, then she probes old habits from protecting people and I come clean a bit. U.S. Marshal, 30 years, retired 8 ago after my wife's cancer. Needed to be home. Then after she went, no point going back. Simple story, mostly true, but the real exit was Messier. Forced out over calling out corruption I couldn't prove back then. Sorry about her, she says soft, and I nod. How's the head? I've had worse, she mutters, then explains the accident. Misjudged ice, slid into a rail, plausible. But the knuckle bruises, jacket tear like a blade, say different. Phone rings, sheriff checking post. Storm, I keep eyes on her. Mention strangers asking about a woman in a truck and she tenses hard. Lots of women drive trucks, she tries, but I call it. Not through blizzards with knife marks and fight scars. Truth time. Sarah, if that's your name. She weighs it, then spills. It is Sarah, but no accident. Ambushed 20 miles east, 2 riders tailing her, shadow wolves, her husband's old crew. Ethan Jenkins led them 6 years, turned a ragtag bunch into a machine guns, money wash, but he started compiling dirt as insurance when he saw the rot went higher, got executed by his own on orders from up top. I barely escaped. The USB in her bag? Proof records, photos, Tepesto bring down the gang and their crooked partners in badges and benches. Why her? She was supposed to die too. Out grabbing food now, heading to FBI in Cheyenne. Contact Ethan trusted. I process it fast, aligns with whispers I'd heard. Sheriff looping me in casual, but something's off. Omission maybe. Why Cheyenne, not closer? Corruption hits local offices, she says plausible. Her truck needs fixing. Roads Wachetso, I offer. Old logging road south to highway. My rig can handle it. Back ways most to Cheyenne. Why risk it? She asks. Spent my life upholding law. If systems betrayed, it's my fight. We gear up quick, but engines rumble outside. 6 bikes, black jackets, led by this hulking brute I recognize from old briefs. Marcus Kane, Ethan's ex-right hand, now boss. Company, I whisper. How so fast? Your truck visible. Questions in town. Too late to run, follow me. Through kitchen to basement, old Cold War tunnels under main. She looks impressed. You've prepped for this, I like exits, I say. Send her a head 3rd shelf flashlight, right at bottom, 50 yards to hardware store back. Wait there, what about you? By time, make it normal. She nods, vanishes down. I tie on apron, play waiter. Door jingles, Kane strides in, 6 feet 4 inches of ink and muscle. Eyes cruel, 5 more fan out, covering doors. Morning gents, coffee fresh. Storm was quiet. He growls, but spots her truck had a visitor? Yeah, stranded lady. Friend picked her up hour ago, to Casper. He smirks funny. No cars passed. Roads just plowed. Try again, old man. Then his eyes lightweight. I know you, Tom Reynolds, the phantom they called. Marshall who ghosted in and out. Put my brother away for 15 in that bank job. Cover blown. Odds suck. 6 on 1, but I play it. Confused with someone? He laughs harsh. No. Goes so. Where's the woman? Ethan's widow, with that drive? Gone. Her business. Nods to search. I edge hand to Colt under counter. They find her jacket, / clear stories crumbling. Ghost, you said it. They called me Phantom for a reason. Get him. I draw fast. Drop behind counter as shots splinter. Would wait for lull. Pop up. 2 shots. 1 shoulder. 1 leg. They howl. Kill him. Kane roars. I roll to kitchen. More fire. Graze my arm. Grab towel. Wrap quick. Slip to basement. Lock. Tunnel dark, but known emerge at hardware. Sarah waiting with screwdriver ready bleeding grace came new me, cover gone. Alley shadow, my rig at caffeinated wheels bikes roar, searching to my buddy Hanks. Vietnam vet, back door knock code. Trouble, Reynolds? Need cabin, truck. He nods Phantomer, Shadow Wolves asking, about Herkies here, back roads. Oh, you cash that favor from Kabul someday. Minutes later, in his Dodge, winding forest who are you? She asks Kane, called you Phantom Marshal was one hat, Afghanistan another life. Radio crackles Hank, they're blocking roads, your name out, black SUV with feds at cafe, suits with Kane. Corruption hirer friends in places. Cabin 20 miles, remote, defensible regroup. Cabin's log fortress, stocked inside, fire going, I wince at arm she patches me efficient, you've done this too many times, gang life ain't gentle. I check her head, see rib bruises ambush, bike handlebars, sir not snapped. Photos on table you and Hank, Danong's 72 different units, same mess, got his pin down out. After, drifted, joined Marshall's 79, good at tracking Phantom cause I vanished. Eat, stew from Can strategy. Kane's got dozens now, corrupt feds too. USB shows millions laundered, photos of gang meets with Suitsky name. Judge Edward Harlan, federal bigwig, spider in the web. Knew him, I mutter 90s, secured him in trial. Thought clean betrayal stings. Echoes my old forced retirement over in proven dirt. More. Ethan's folder on Big Wash Op, $50 mil Suntai loosens after, including Hank. Copy to microSD get to someone trusted. Not her contact if Harlan's reach hits FBI. Michael Reeves, old boss, retired marshal director, connections clean. But engines, echo pursuit closing. Defend. Traps, shooting lanes but helicopter whirs. Snowmobiles buzz Harlan's pulling strings. Pros now, not just bikers. I send her out back trail to fire tower. Radio frequency for Reeves' ghost sent you I'll divert. She hesitates partners now. Go, I'll catch up. Alone, I melt into Wood's old skills kick in. Ambushes picking off snowmobiles non-lethal, but net titans, herded to ravine. Deadfall trap shot triggers avalanche. Chaos culvert crawl, but chopper pins, bullhorn. Marshal Reynolds, FBI agent Vance, surrounded, out now. Surrender? Bluff seeds douched to border. Evidence mailed outlets if harm us, public. Vance tends to secure Himi guess hits. Your name and payoffs? Mouth too but agents glance uneasy, doubt planted. SUV to remote Logino Fed spot. Harlan's retreat cellar chair, restraints. Vance circle swears she drive. Mistake, whatever he pays. Syringe out truth cocktail but gunfire erupts above, chopper thumps heavy. Vance panics check Ichos grows, contractor left guards. But waivers didn't sign for torture drops gun, bolts exit. Door burst stack team. Colonel Hale, Marshall's special ops Reeves sent. Compound secure, Vance cuffed, Kane nabbed singing deals. Reunion at safe house Sarah hugs tight. You made it evidence safe. Arrests rolling, Harlan cuffed on news. Hank fine, grumbling. Months past trial in Cheyenne, I testify calm against Harlan's glare. Defense flails jury quick, guilty. Reeves offers task force, anti-corruption, me leading field, Sarah consulting independent, report to AG. We take it partners, fighting the rot. But here's the thing that nags me still was Harlan the top, or just a cog in something bigger, with deeper ties we missed? Makes you wonder if the system's fixable, or if corruption's baked in, waiting for the next storm. What do you think, he's justice real, or just a story we tell? Drop a comment, share your take on corruption, community fights, right and wrong. Love hearing your stories. Might feature one next time. Hit subscribe if this hit home. See you in the next one.